This is me. I was a derivative trader 8 years ago and I was completely obsessed with finance. I did my bachelor's in financial markets at that time and I was doing really well. But then there came a moment in my life when I realized that there's so much out there and I started to wonder how to grow. So I started researching and then I suddenly hit a wall because there were so many options in front of me. CFA, Masters in Finance, MBA in Finance, three completely different paths, all promising different things, and I was standing there absolutely confused about which one was actually worth it. After months of being confused, I had to finally choose my own path. And I will definitely tell you the path that I chose, but at the end of the video, so that I don't create any bias in how I break this down for you. But here's the thing. Over the years, while making my own decisions, I have been watching dozens of my friends and clients go through the exact same decision-making process. I have watched them choose CFA, take up master's degrees, invest heavily in MBAs. I saw what worked for them, what didn't work for them, what was worth the money and what was not. If you are someone who wants to build a career in finance, then you are in the right place because I can break down for you exactly what each path costs, what you will learn, the salaries that you will get and job outcomes. Just truth, no fluff from someone who's lived it and watched others live it too. So without wasting any time, let's get this started.
Let's see which career path in finance is the right one for you. CFA, Masters in Finance or MBA in Finance.
Now let's look at the most important factor for many, the cost. 3 levels of CFA will cost you $3,520, which is about 3 lakh rupees if you catch the early bird discount. In addition to that, materials and coaching can cost you anywhere from 1.5 to 2 lakhs. Coaching is generally not needed because there is a lot of material available online. But let's assume that you do take it up. In that case, all in all, a CFA degree can cost you about 5 lakh rupees. Now, next is Masters in Finance. In case of Masters in Finance, it's a huge investment. A Masters in Finance at any top college without a scholarship will cost you at least 50 to 60 lakhs. In India, there are hardly any pure Masters in Finance programs that are well reputed. So that's why most students who want to do a Masters in Finance end up going abroad. Now, in case of MBA, it's a huge investment, much more than Masters in Finance. An MBA at an Ivy League, M7 or a top European school can cost you anywhere from 1 to 1.5 crores. Obviously, like I said, since it's a huge investment, it's not an option for a lot of people. But obviously, since you invest that much money, the rewards are also sometimes quite outstanding. Next, let's look at the academics. In terms of purely academics, I believe CFA is more practical. It's a great entry point for anyone who has no background in finance. The first 2 levels are all about financial markets, valuation, portfolio management, and how these concepts work. Level 3 goes a little deeper and it's more advanced. It lets you choose a specialization from 3 different pathways. Academically, I feel it's one of the most high ROI in case of these 3 options. I personally did not opt for a CFA because I was already doing a bachelor's in financial markets. Studying the same thing all over again would just be quite repetitive and redundant for me. So I didn't go for a CFA, but however, if you are, let's say, a fresher or if you're from a different background, like you are, let's say, an engineer, then CFA is a great entry point for you to just explore and figure out if finance is something you really want to do. Now, in case of Masters in Finance, academically, it's more of a mix. Academically, most pre-experienced Masters in Finance programs abroad cover about 2 levels of CFA. These programs are structured more like traditional university-style education with case studies, internships, real-world projects built into the curriculum. So even though academically it's giving the same value as CFA for a much higher cost, what really teaches you more is not just the academics but the entire environment and the university ecosystem. At top colleges for Masters in Finance, the ecosystem is generally outstanding. Bloomberg terminals, research labs, professors directly from the industry coming and teaching for each and every class. And on top of that, most Masters in Finance programs have a tie-up directly with CFA. So they don't just give you free coaching for CFA while you're pursuing Masters in Finance, but also they give you scholarships to the best candidates. So while doing a Masters in Finance, you don't just get the ecosystem, but you also get an opportunity to study and get a scholarship for CFA. So academically, it is more or less same as CFA, right? However, overall experience is much better. Also, don't forget that there are a lot of different types of masters in finance degrees. For example, quantitative finance, climate finance, financial markets, financial engineering. And it's generally super confusing for students to decide which one is the right for them. So I've actually made a complete video about this as well, as you can see. And if you're confused about which master's degree to choose, this is the video for you. Now, let's look at MBA. Now, academically, MBA covers two things: general business and management courses. Along with it, it has a specialization in finance, which you generally pursue in the second year of your degree. So you're not just getting a finance degree, but you're getting like a broader business education alongside the finance curriculum. In case of MBA, it's not just about finance. You're learning strategy, operations, leadership, how to build businesses, etc. The finance specialization is just one part of the entire degree. Again, the environment in case of MBA adds more value, and that's why the high cost. Just placing yourself in an environment at, let's say, at an Ivy League, M7 or a top school in Europe can open doors and opportunities for you that you can never imagine. Now let's talk about the most important factor that there is, the job outcomes. Having a CFA shows your motivation and interest in finance. It shows the extra effort that you've taken compared to others, and that's exactly why getting a job can be a bit easier as a fresher compared to someone who doesn't have a CFA. However, having a CFA degree or a few levels cleared won't significantly increase your salary. I have hardly seen anyone get a better salary just because they had a CFA degree. Now let's say even if that's the case, it's about 1 to 2 lakhs more at the best. A complete fresher from an average college in India with a CFA degree will get starting offers from 6 to 8 lakhs a year. However, if a candidate is from a top college in India, the package can go anywhere from 8 lakh up to 25 lakhs. Even today, what matters more is the brand name of your university and the bachelor's degree that you've done. Almost everyone who's interested in finance has completed the CFA program. And this is the reason why employers are not willing to pay extra for someone who is a CFA professional. The total number of CFAs in the Indian market currently are rapidly increasing, and that's why the companies are not really motivated to offer higher packages. This is why I believe that even though CFA really opens a lot of doors for you, you can get some jobs that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise. However, it does not really get you a better package, and that's why the value of CFA is kind of diminishing. Now, in case of Masters in Finance, as a fresher, let's say with 1 or 2 internships, you can get packages above 60 lakhs. Obviously, this depends on which country and college you go to, right? However, if you end up going to a top college abroad to pursue Masters in Finance, generally freshers start with packages anywhere from 50 to 60 lakhs. Now, let's see what happens in case of an MBA. MBA salaries are on a completely different level. You're looking at entry-level offers from 80 lakhs to 1.5 crores or even more depending on which Ivy League, M7 or top college you ended up going to, and obviously which country you are based out of. In case of MBA, obviously for finance, the sky is the limit. Most candidates end up getting into high-paying positions in investment banking, private equity, VC, etc. The challenge here is that even though MBA is highly rewarding, it's very expensive, first of all, and second, it's very difficult to get into like a top college. Also, the job outcome depends a lot on the country you go to and external market conditions. But generally, the salary multiplier in case of MBA is real. However, financially, an MBA abroad will not make sense for a lot of people. For them, a better alternative is to pursue an MBA in India. A similar MBA in India can cost anywhere from 25 to 40 lakhs depending on which university or business school you get into. However, the rewards are still really good. You can get a starting average salary of anywhere around 30 to 35 lakhs. Now let's look at what should you do. Now, in case you are a complete fresher, right, and you have absolutely zero background in finance, then go for a CFA degree. CFA is low cost, low commitment degree, and you will be able to figure out while studying if finance is your thing or not. Now, since you would have CFA, it would show your motivation for finance, and getting an opportunity in finance would not be that tough. However, like I said, the packages wouldn't be outstanding. So once you work there for 1 or 2 years, try to get into a good master's degree abroad. Now, let's say if you're someone like me who has a background in finance, right? In that case, pursuing a CFA won't really help because academically you are already taught what you're needed to be taught, right? So CFA will not make a lot of sense because you will not get a better package and you will not see the growth that you really want. You won't really get front office roles or things like that. So your best shot is to focus your energy and effort in getting good internships, getting real experience in the market. Once you do that, right, After graduation, look for a decent job. Work there for 1 or 2 years and build your profile to get into a very good Masters in Finance program abroad. This would not just give you global exposure, but it would also get you experience in the global financial markets, right? This is why I actually went for a master's degree. Now, since I already had a background in finance, doing a CFA was not making a lot of sense. What I did was, after my bachelor's, I got some solid experience as a derivatives trader, like I mentioned before. And then after that, I ended up doing a master's so that I could actually get the front-facing jobs in finance and so that I could get the best opportunities possible out there. In my case, I didn't go for a pure master's in finance degree because I wanted to keep my options open. I always wanted to become an entrepreneur, right? And that's why I went for a master's in management with a specialization in finance. In this case, I could study management and also pursue finance, keeping both my interests in mind, right? And I also gained some work experience abroad in finance. I worked as a financial analyst at a company. I assisted professors at university. And after doing all this, I kind of figured out what my true calling was. Now, let's say if you're someone who has 4 to 5 years of work experience and your experience is completely unrelated to finance, right? And you want to get into finance, you want to pivot. In that case, obviously, your best shot is an MBA in finance. Obviously, if you have the budget. If your budget is low, try getting into Indian colleges. Now, in this case, what you can do is you can pursue 1 or 2 levels of CFA to show your motivation in finance. This would not just help you get into the university, but this would also help you figure out if finance is your thing, right? And then go for an MBA in finance. So there is no one solution for everyone. Based on your situation, figure out what's the best for you. So now you know the difference between CFA, Masters in Finance, and MBA in Finance. These are 3 very different paths in finance and they have very different outcomes. Not just the jobs you will get, but also the kind of packages that will be offered to you. Remember one thing, in case of careers in business and finance, what matters the most is brand names. All the top companies want to hire from the biggest brand names. Now let's say either you can target a big brand name for a bachelor's degree, right? So that it sets you on the right path from the start. Now if that didn't work out for you, try to get into a big brand name either for a master's or an MBA because that's what can actually be a great salary multiplier. CFA definitely shows your interest, definitely opens a lot of doors for you. But if you're really looking for growth or if you're looking for better positions or better roles, then CFA alone won't do the job. Finance is a vast domain and students often get confused as which path to choose. There are so many specializations, there are so many different job outcomes. And if you're someone who's actually struggling with this decision, feel free to reach out to my team here and we will help you out. For the ones who don't know me, I am Bijal and I'm a study abroad consultant and I help my candidates get into the world's best programs. Be it Masters in Management, Masters in Finance, MBA, etc. We can help you figure out which is the right course for you and help you get into these top universities. If you're looking for someone to guide you in this entire journey, feel free to reach out to my team on this WhatsApp number or schedule a call here and we will help you out. I hope this video was helpful. If you really like the video, please make sure to subscribe and like.